Hello again. Hope everyone's enjoying their New Year's Eve. So, continuing on with Disney's subject, this time I'm going to do my top 10 favorite animated Disney movies. So, in this list, this was a tough list to come up with because there are so many good ones. It is just so hard. Now, if it's not on the list, and just for the record, this does not include the Pixar's. So, yeah, this is a tough list to come up with. I'm talking like the original animated, like hand drawn and all that. That type of animated. So yeah, so many to choose from. It was a hard list to come up with. So yeah, so top 10. I know I'm going to kind of break a rule on number 10 because I put two on the list because they are the same franchise, and that is The Rescuers and The Rescuers Down Under. Both fantastic movies. Love these movies since I was a kid. Bianca and Bernard, great chemistry between the two in both films. The first one they meet, Bianca and Bernard, she actually asked Bernard to come with her on this mission to save Penny from evil Madame Medusa and Snoops. Snoops. Great name. But yeah, so quite a thrill there. They get Orville to fly them to the swamp area and all that. So let me tell you, some crazy stuff there. And of course, Bernard is very superstitious on how many steps. If it's to 13, he doesn't want to take that 13th step. So, yeah, superstition can get the best of him, I guess. Even though they try to tell him, it's a bunch of nonsense. And of course, he doesn't want to trust flying. He'd rather take a train. He says it's safe. Safe! So, yeah. But yeah, the whole thing with saving Penny was great. Just going on that mission. And the way that Madame Medusa gets her defeat, it was just well done. With Brutus and Nero going after her. That was just, you knew it was coming. Karma at its best right there. So then you go on to Rescuers Down Under in Australia this time. And this time Cody is kidnapped by McLeach, the poacher. Voiced by George C. Scott. That voice, you could just tell, yep, that's him. And let me tell you, he pulled it off really well. And of course, Bianca and Bernard this time seek the help. And this time they get Wilbur right. Wilbur, voiced by John Candy, great legend. And he pulls it off too in this one as well. And we all miss John Candy. So, he was just so iconic. And so, yeah, the mission starts. Snowy weather to get into the hot tropics of Australia. And let me tell you, it is another thrill right there. And this one I think actually was a little better than the original. That's not to say the original was bad, but Rescuers Down Under for me took it a next step up. And it was all great. Just going through all of Australia, the wilderness of Australia, to save Cody and the eagle. Just so they can save the eagle's babies, basically. And Joanna, Joanna is very menacing too. Especially the moment where she steals McLeach's eggs. And yeah, you can tell there's definitely some conflict between the two because of that. But overall, it's a great film. Highly recommended. I highly recommend both those films, so yeah. So number 9 on my list is Robin Hood. Now this one I've liked since I was a kid as well. The chemistry with Robin Hood and Little John, Maid Marian, everyone works well in this one. And of course, Prince John, sucking on his thumb. Mommy. That villain is just so over the top. But it's funny, though. It's actually one of those that's funny. And of course, Sir Hiss as well, always trying to tell him, hey, to do the right. Watch out. He knows Robin Hood's up to something. And of course, Prince John takes him for granted. And it ends up biting him in the end. And of course, the Sheriff of Nottingham. I mean, just that final fight between him and Robin Hood. I mean, wow. And of course, the whole archery contest. And the two vultures. Yeah, nutsy. And all that. I like, what is it when they cause a stir up? The other vulture tries to, and then all of a sudden, Nottingham, like, no more false alarms. I mean, that's just great. So, yeah. Everyone in this film is great. The music's great. Friar Tuckman's great. Especially when he comes to defending the church and does a little showdown with the Sheriff of Nottingham. I mean, he gave it to him. I was like, dang. From a friar. Unbelievable. I mean, this is just great right there. And Prince John does go to the extremes of taxing everyone to death, basically, after the taxes were previously stolen. I mean, let me tell you, that's just abuse of power right there. So yeah, Robin Hood, great film overall. And of course, Prince John, the Sheriff of Nottingham, and Sir Hiss get theirs at the end. So yep, definitely worth it there. Next on the list is another classic, Peter Pan. I mean, Peter Pan versus Captain Hook, one of the greatest rivalries of all time. I mean, from start to finish, absolutely love the chemistry between Peter Pan and Wendy, along with John and Michael, and of course the flight to Neverland, and all that. And then, of course, Mr. Smee. Mr. Smee. Poor Mr. Smee takes all the abuse. But he's funny at the same time, too. When they're singing that song, Mr. Smee's just trying to join in. And then Hook just knocks him out with a hook. I mean, you feel for Mr. Smee. Then, of course, tick tock, and then Hook gets all scared. Smee! Because, of course, tick tock noise means the crocodile's coming. I mean, yes. And, of course, eventually at the end, he's just flying away every way he can to escape that crocodile. Just when Captain Hook's about to get his victory, all of a sudden the tick-tock noise comes on, and here comes the crocodile. So, yep, that's Peter Pan for you. Fun times, still enjoy it, and it's one of my favorite rides at Disneyland to this day. So, yep, Peter Pan, awesome. Next up, The Little Mermaid. So, Princess Ariel. Easily one of my favorite princesses. Probably my favorite princess overall in the Disney franchise, because anything to do with ocean, beach areas and all that, love it. So basically the top 6, it gets hard to rank, but Little Mermaid makes my list. So yeah, overall, love the music. Sebastian's great. Love the chemistry between Ariel and Prince Eric. And you can definitely see where they have the chemistry. And Prince Eric loves Ariel for who she is. And so, yeah. Now, the music's great, too. Kiss the Girl. Poor Unfortunate Souls. My sister used to sing that at karaoke at times here and there. So, yeah. A lot of good music there. Under the Sea. How can anyone forget that one? That's just so classic and iconic. And of course, King Triton can't handle the fact that Ariel loves a human instead of her own kind for a love interest. And Triton just can't stand it. And so, of course, she goes away because She wants to do anything she can to be with the man he loves. I mean, she loves. Excuse me. I'm sorry, I'm a little off there. But overall, yeah. Of course, she signs the deal with Ursula, loses her voice. But she does get to see him and be with him. And then, of course, the final showdown with Ursula. And, of course, Chef Louis and Sebastian. When they fight in the kitchen, that was just great. Sebastian caused all that havoc. I mean, that was just great. And at the end, at the wedding, causes more havoc for Chef Louis. And as a result, he wins again. So yeah, Little Mermaid, classic times, great film. And Ariel is my favorite Disney princess, if I had to choose one. So yeah. Next up, number 5, Beauty and the Beast. I think I remember seeing this as a kid in the theaters with my mom, sister, dad, and a couple other people. And this is a good one too. This is another good chemistry one there too, with Belle and the Beast. Chemistry building up as the movie goes on. Well done. Love the other characters. Lumiere, Cogsworth, Mrs. Pot, and Chip. Yeah, all great characters. The music's great. The animation's great. The storyline's great. And of course, Gaston as the villain's great too. Along with LeFou. You can tell LeFou's trying to just suck up to him. And of course, Gaston ain't buying it. Because, of course. And you feel for Gaston a little bit too, because he's doing everything he can to get a woman to go for him. And he gets rejected. And I get it. I've been there before. So I feel for Gaston as far as that goes. But other stuff outside of that, I mean, he goes on way too extreme of measures, including trying to get Belle's dad, Maurice, locked up in an asylum in exchange. And the only way he'll let him clear up everything is if Belle marries him. And of course, Belle stands her ground and says no. And of course, Gaston gets his at the end where he falls to his death. And the spell gets broken. So, yep. Great film from start to finish. Highly recommend it. Number 4, 101 Dalmatians. This is a fun film. I mean, great music, great characters. Roger and Anita, Nanny, Corella, Jasper and Horace. I mean, this is just a great film. I mean, puppies get kidnapped. Pongo and Birdie go save them, bring them home, and they go travel through the snowstorm. I mean, that's just insane-o. Saving them from the DeVille place first, then go through that snowstorm, stay a night at the farm, catch up with a Labrador, finds a truck for them to get in and get home, and avoid Corella, Jasper, and Horace. Great film. Great music. That Cruella de Vil song from Roger, so iconic. I mean, this is the right song to write about a villain. So yes, well done there. Well done there. Number 3. Now this one may shock a lot of people, but this was a childhood favorite of mine, and that is Sword in the Stone. I love the Sword in the Stone. Merlin and Archimedes crack me up every time, especially Archimedes. Especially that moment where Merlin's trying to test out a plane to fly it and it gets caught in his beard and Archimedes just starts laughing himself to death almost. I mean, it's just so funny. Merlin does everything he can to teach Arthur education and the ways of life, even transform him into a fish and a squirrel. And of course, the squirrel thing, of course, as a female squirrel, doesn't know he's a human. Has a lot of love for him, but he don't feel the same. So yeah, there's that too. I've had that problem before. I've been on both sides of that, actually, where I really like this woman, she don't feel the same, or this one has that for me, but I just didn't feel the same. I think we've all been there before. But yeah. And of course, Madame Mim, the showdown between her and Merlin was great too. And of course, Arthur fighting through, taking orders from Kay and Hector. I mean, he just comes through at the end by pulling the sword out of the stone, becoming King Arthur. So yeah, overall, great film, great chemistry between the characters. The music's great. Absolutely love it. Like I said, it's going to shock people that I put this at number 3, because most people don't even consider this movie a top 10 worthy movie, but I do. So yeah. So number 2, 1 and 2 were tough because this could have gone either way. But number 2 for me is The Lion King. I mean, great music, great voice cast. Absolutely love it from start to finish. Saw it in the theaters as a kid. Absolutely love it. I mean, Simba and Nala, the chemistry there is great. Timon and Pumbaa steal the show, though. Timon and Pumbaa steal the show. Hakuna Matata. So yes. And of course, Scar, voiced by Jeremy Irons, and Mufasa, James Earl Jones. It just doesn't get any better. I mean, seriously. How? This was the disrespect I felt for the live action one. Yes, they brought James Earl Jones back, but they didn't bring Jeremy Irons. I don't understand that. But this is where the animated one does very well. And the music's great in the animated one. Like the live action, they butchered it. And not in a good way either. But the animated one, Be Prepared, remains my favorite villain song of all time. I mean, it's just so iconic. It stays with you. And that's what you love about this song. Along with the songs like Hakuna Matata and Circle of Life. And Can You Feel the Love Tonight? Yes. Great stuff there. And Rafiki was great too. Correction, I know your father. Nope, wrong again. He's alive. I mean, so awesome. They're great film. And number 1, Aladdin. Yes. This is easily my favorite Disney movie from start to finish. Love just about everything. I love everything about this film. The music, the voices of the characters, the chemistry between the characters, and the music. I mean, A Whole New World is my favorite duet of all time. I mean, you definitely feel that's a definite relationship love type song right there. I mean, that is the perfect song to sing together with your loved one. Absolutely worth it. And of course, Robin Williams as the voice of the genie. He is easily the best character in that movie. And Gilbert Gottfried as Iago as well. I mean, both those guys are legends in my book. And of course, John Freeman as Jafar. I mean, so perfect. I mean, this was the Jafar right there in my book. I mean, he just pulls off that evil laugh so well. The voice is great. And the chemistry between Aladdin and Jasmine works so well. Sultan's great. Genie's great. Iago's great. I mean, and Abu, Carpet. These characters just stay with you. And that's what I've always loved about Aladdin. Everything really stays with you in the film from start to finish. So there you have it. My top 10 favorite Disney animated movies. Like and subscribe, comment down below. Tell me what are your favorite Disney animated movies of all time. I would love to see your list. Thank you so much for watching.